Hey guys, guess who knows what day it is? It's Saturday. I don't know what day of the month it is, but I do know that it's Saturday because my little supervisor over here, if we can get him into the camera, he reminded me that today was Saturday and that we needed to do our Saturday strolling. So we're going to do it a little bit differently because if you look up there, oh maybe up there, the orchids are gone. And they're gone because I have them on the table in front of me. So let me turn the camera around and we will chat about them because we don't really get to see them that much. Because this chair, I'm still not tall enough, guys. I'm a short little girl. Well, a short little old woman, whatever you want to call it. I'll be right back. I thought we could start here in the kitchen. So I have the Sanderiana and the gold staff, which are being grown in Leca self-watering. They're the only two that live on the top shelf that are like that. I have them in their weekly soak. It's just plain filtered water, nothing in it, to kind of give them a nice flush. Normally what I do is I just take my little pitcher here, and that is the water waiting to go back into the pots once I pull them out. But I like to give them a nice good soak, and I let them sit for about 30 minutes. And then drain them really well, set them back in, and either add the plain water or fertilized water, whatever is going on for that week. And if you'd like to have a cup of coffee, go ahead and help yourself. We still have some left. But Sanderiana, if I can say her name correctly, let me move Goldstaff out of the way so we can turn her around. 1 second here. All right, now look at this girl. She's going to be a big one because these leaves back here is what she came with right here. This is her first growth with me that she grew under the Barina lights when I realized she was just taking up a little more space than I had for her in that little spot. So when I put her on the top, she had started this leaf. It was probably maybe about right here, and she's still extending it. It is still tender on the end, so she's not quite ready to harden that off. But look at that. I love the kind of flat sheen. It's almost like she has like a film cover on her. So I do wipe these leaves once a week when I take her down to flush her. I don't use a wet paper towel. I just use a soft cloth and I wipe. And I do wipe the undersides as well because the stomata on your Phalaenopsis are closed during the day. And my theory behind that is if it's dusty under here when the stomata is open, it still can't breathe. So I do wipe underneath. I only do that once a month. The top gets done once a week and the bottom I do once a month. But let me turn her around so you can see her beautiful rooties. And this piece of Leca was stuck on there when I transitioned her into the Orchid Supply Leca. This stuff is so good. If you want to go get you some, go to orchidsupply.com and use coupon code TRISH at checkout for a 12% discount. I'm telling you, this Leca is amazing, amazing. I've used it twice now, so that first bag was not a fluke. But she does have that beautiful root here. She's got all kinds of roots in the pot, as you can see on the top here, but she also has them up underneath. And then the gold staff. Now she was living on the Barina shelf. I think it's the third shelf down, but she likes to make big spikes. And it was difficult with the last spike that I did cut. I think it was last week. If not last week, it was the week before. It was difficult getting her in and out to flush her, so she is going to start living on the top shelf as well. Well, remember I said I cut her spike not less than 2 weeks ago. She finished this leaf while she was producing that spike, which this is the leaf that I damaged when I repotted her in here. Started on this leaf and roots, and the one root that she was working on is now going down into a Limitia. But let me just turn her around for those of you who missed the live on the 16th. This is the spike that I literally just cut, like I said, less than 2 weeks ago. Do you see what I see? Look at that. She's going to spike again. This is why she's going on the top shelf. I'm just going to let her do her because she apparently is super happy in this lovely setup. She's got new roots that she's coming out there, her aerial roots, because the ones that she had prior to me putting her back into this bigger pot, I put them in the pot. She's just an aerial producer as well, but I just love her. Like, she is very vigorous. I don't think that all this spiking is a rescue. I need to save myself simply because she's continuing to do leaf growth, root growth. She just likes to show her blooms. And this is my other supervisor that we don't get to see very often. She's usually up underneath my feet. But this is little Miss Ayala right here. She's just a little fat girl. And let me show you something cool if I can get her to turn around. Turn around, Lala. Turn around. Turn around. Go that way. Look at her little heart. Oh, you didn't see it. I'll take a picture of it, but she has a little heart on the side. She's a shy one. She is a shy one. Ayala. Come here, Mama. Come here, little Mama. Come here. Come see me. All righty. Can we see your pretty face? Can we see your pretty face? With those pretty brown eyes. Oh, and the supervisor says, whoa, whoa, what's going on? What is going on? But see her little heart? Is so cute. The rest of the ladies are sitting right here. And let's just start with Miss Spots. Now, she used to hang on the wall over there on the basket, and she now sits on the top shelf. She doesn't have any new root growth. I recently repotted her and set her back a little bit further. Previously, she was really, really close to the edge. And I do have, it's a piece of lava rock, but a piece of rock to kind of help hold her up so she doesn't start leaning right away until she gets a few more roots established in there. She's got some, but not a lot. And then little Miss Sunshine here, she is in an Orchiata pot, and she is growing this wanky leaf, and it's my fault. I kept moving the direction of light for her. That's okay, she'll have her own little characteristic, but this is what the leaves should look like. And she was a little stressed, but they are starting to get a little bit bigger. Now, she may not have the wideness because I have found, and let me know in the comments below if you find the same thing, if they're getting the right amount of light, sometimes their leaves aren't as wide as the ones you get them with. I kind of have a theory that the wider the leaves, the more they're spreading out to get more light. And if they're not super wide, then they're getting enough light. Let me know what you think. Let me know. But she does have a few little roots. I have added some small bark just around the base because she too had a rock up under here until she got a little established. And once I took that rock out, there was kind of a big empty spot there. So I just filled it in with some small bark to help kind of hold a little more moisture closer to the root area there. Now, she's not hurting for roots, but you know, more roots is not a bad thing. Let's talk about Miss Larky Song here. Now, this is the original Lark Song. This is the one that pretty much is one of my faves. Now, she has quite a few roots in the pot. Most of them are in the middle. She was repotted back in a little over a year ago, in March of 22. So she's still good to stay in here. But she has grown these two leaves last year. She did spike for us in, I believe it was around July, August last year. And then she is working on a new leaf here. If she does spike early, I probably will cut it just so I can get some more growth because she's running out of nodes. So she spiked here. I'm kind of expecting the next one here, but then she'll only have one node left. Well, two. I just want her to grow some more leaves and maybe bloom for us again in the fall, because she generally blooms twice a year, but I want to force more vegetative growth this year. Over here, I have Kaleidoscope. She's a no ID. She was kind of struggling in the back corner because she used to sit in that back corner over there right by that grow light. And she was kind of struggling since I moved her to the front. This leaf has grown quite quickly, and it's almost as long as this one. I'm expecting it to get even longer simply because you can look at it and tell she's still real tender. This was the previous leaf, and it's this one, yeah, about the same size. She was recently repotted as well towards the end of the year. Let's just move around here and see what we got. Now this one here is the Fuller's Sunset, and she was repotted in September of 21 into this pot here. And you can see she's kind of filled up with roots in there. But I think I'm going to just take her out. I'm not going to repot her per se. I'm just going to take her out and set her back a little bit, because look how far she's leaning already up at the front. And I'd like her to sit back just a little bit more. That's the plan. Let's see if she follows through with le plan. And then we have Pink Lady, formerly known as Small Leaves, recently repotted in this clear pot. Now she came out of a heavy moss bark mixture, and most of this is bark with a little bit of moss thrown in. So not a lot of holes, not a lot of air flow coming from the sides, because that's what she's kind of used to. And she does not have any new growth coming quite yet. I don't see it. Sometimes you can see like a little sliver in this area of the leaf joints, and you can kind of tell something's coming up. Most of the time though, it just pops up and you get surprised, like Miss Yuccadon here. So this is Foul Sogo Yuccadon. I don't know if you can even see that tag, but oh, a piece of moss came out, but that's Yuccadon. And she was recently, and by recently I mean in May of this year, 2023, repotted into this pot here. Now this one does have some air holes in it. And the reason being is the pot she came out of had a lot of slats in it, but it was medium bark, and she stayed damp, I think, too long in there, because, let's see if we can see it. Last time we looked at her, I didn't think she had any leaf growth going, but I am happy to report I have a leaf. I'm very happy about that, because she sat, for a very long time. I've had her since March of 2021, and she did not do any kind of leaf growth. She'd do a couple of roots here and there until last year in 2022. During the growing season, she grew this and this. So she grew 2 leaves since I've had her. But it looks like she might be taking off, and hopefully we get some new roots, because the roots that I put in here, they weren't the happiest, but they're doing their job. And then here we have the Tadia Momoko, who, so do you see where it comes? Sometimes you can see like just the little point. If I can focus, there we go. Just the little point of the leaf before you actually see the leaf. So if you're wondering if your fowl is growing a leaf, that's kind of a way to look. And I usually take my camera and really zoom in on them, because I have really bad eyesight sometimes. But she is kind of growing off to the side now, but that's all right. Again, all of my fowls seem to think they need to have their own little unique characteristic. But if I can pick it up, there we go. Couple of roots right there on the side. She's recently been repotted. I repotted her last month in May of 23. Again, into a clear pot without side holes. Simply, again, she had quite the moss in her previous setup, so this way the moisture stays in a little bit longer. She is a aerial root producer. I did put 90% of her aerial roots in the pot with her when I repotted, and they did have those active tips. But let me just show you what I did with the rescue fowls from the Orchid Supply Store. So I've got number 2 sitting here, and we have number 3 right here, and then number 1, I believe, is right here. So again, not real strong light, just kind of the similar light to what they had when they were in the room. And then let's just move around all this. And then I've moved the 2 keikis underneath the Barina light. I figure I'm going to push them, because I know that one right there, I know it's going to be fine. This one here, I'm going to push it, and it's going to make it. It is going to make it. And then I also moved the Phalaenopsis Long Pride Sunkissed over here as well. And let me see, I think this one I can use as an example for the leaves, because I'm pretty sure she has a new leaf coming. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but there is just the hint of a little something right at the very bottom. I can't get it to really focus real well, but we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully she will grow another leaf. But again, I think she can handle the stronger light. And in other good news while we're here, my kin, which it's a no ID that I got from the Orchid Supply Store, is also growing a lovely new leaf. Like I said, we don't really get to see the big guns because I do live at the top, and that chair, even with me standing in it on my tippy toes, still not tall enough for me to really see what's going on and kind of talk about them. Let me know how your girls are doing. And then I just wanted to add this on to the end. Rayanne, this is for you. I think this is what you were talking about. I prefer my inner pots and my mask to kind of almost line up, as opposed to the repot that I did on the looseberry where the pot sits up a little bit. I kind of prefer them to be a little more flush. The reason, especially if they have moss, and the main reason for that is so that the moss doesn't get that algae buildup, like I showed you guys on that repot. They don't all necessarily have to, like that one there. I just have that one there more as a decoration because that one doesn't have any moss in it. And then this one, I wanted to kind of hold the moisture in a little bit more, so that's why that one is a little bit lower. So there's varying reasons on why I use masks, but primarily it is to hold in moisture, and I do prefer them to be a little more flushed to the pot as opposed to over the pot. I hope that was answering your question. If not, feel free to comment below and let me know how I can clarify that for you. I hope everyone is having a beautiful Saturday, and I'll see you guys later.